G'day guys, in today's video we're going to be doing a run through my Ranger. Alright, so I've nearly had my car for 4 years now, which is crazy to think about. There's a lot of things that we've changed, but there's also a lot of things that we haven't even touched yet or haven't even gotten to updating, modifying, and all of those things. But anyway, we're going to go through everything today. We might actually start inside the car and I'll show you guys. Alright, so we're in the front of the car. Not too much has changed in here. When we bought it, it came with this Alpine display screen. I am looking at upgrading this. It's a bit dodgy at times. Sometimes it doesn't turn off. Bluetooth stopped working. I can't talk through it. I can still connect my phone and play music, but I can't talk through it anymore. And then obviously we've got our Oricom two-way in here as well. That's something that we've recently added and we've secured it down here for a long time. The two-way just lived underneath my seat. And between me and Riley getting out and changing the seat back and forth, all the cords got wrecked and everything. So we had to get a new system and we thought we better set it up properly. So that's where that is. And other than that, that's about it. Nothing else too fancy in here. But yeah, definitely looking at upgrading to a new screen. Something a little bit newer. I'm not sure how long this has been in the car for. But yeah, as I said, it was in here when I got it. But anyway, let's go check out the back seat. All right, we're in the back of the car now. Now this is not... It's sort of like between a space cab and a full-sized dual cab. I'm not sure what it's actually specifically called. But there's not a heap of room. Like, I'm not super tall. And my knees are nearly touching the front seat. So that is something that obviously we don't... Not that we normally travel with other people, but it is a bit squishy in the back here. We've got seat organisers on both of the back seats. We've got our first aid kit in this one. And a few other bits and pieces, toilet paper, spare water bottle, some hats and bits and pieces like that. These don't get used that much now that we've got a lot more organisation in the back of the Canopy. But yeah, it's always good to have these for a little bit of extra organisation. In the Canopy side, on the driver's side of the car, now this is where we keep all our bigger items like our camp chairs and everything. Our second battery setup is also in here. And yeah, so it's more of just a storage spot. When we go on longer trips and we need another fridge/freezer, that can also go in here. But yeah, it's basically just a big open area that gets used for storage. When I got the car, the Canopy was pretty much empty. It had this power section here that runs back to the main battery of the car, and these lights were in it as well, and that was it. Completely empty. So we pretty much had free reign to do whatever we wanted to do with it. One of the first things that we did to the Canopy was put in the kitchen section, and then we just had the battery box sitting on the ground in here. As time went on, we've changed a few things. So we built this box here to lift the battery up because we found that the cords on the fridges and whatever else we were plugging in were getting wrecked by everything that sits in here. And it also gives us another little storage spot for some of the smaller stuff that we don't want rattling around in with all the bigger things. We are looking at probably upgrading this again to a lithium battery. It's just got a standard battery in the moment. We don't get the best wear time out of it. And as we are planning on going longer trips, we will be off-grid for longer. That's something that we will definitely need to be upgrading to. Also looking at potentially putting in a inverter so that we can run 240 volt as well. But anyway, let's go around to the other side of the Canopy. Before we open this side up, I just want to talk about the Canopy locks. We had different locks on here when we first got the car, and we actually lost a bit of the piece from the inside of one side, so they would just come open. They wouldn't stay locked. The ones that we had were central locking, where these new ones that we replaced it with are not, so you need a key to open them, which is not a bad thing. But yeah, the other ones would actually come down and then spin open, and the canopies would fly open, and there was a lot of times that stuff would fall out of the car. Had a few casualties. But anyway, so we replaced the locks. Got some nice new matte black ones, which I think actually suit the car a lot better because it had chrome ones on there before. But anyway, let's open up the Canopy. Alright, so this is the kitchen side of our canopy. She has recently gone through a reno. When we put this in, it was not long after I got my car, and we loved it. There was nothing wrong with it, but we've made a few minor changes just after using it. There's a few things that we realized we didn't need and things that we did need. So we made a few minor changes to that. So in here, we've got the 80-litre upright Bushman fridge, and we've had no issues with it. As I said, this canopy setup went pretty much straight in after I got the car, and we've had this since, and we've had no issues with it. The only downside to it is the small freezer that's in it. But like I said, when we're going on longer trips, we've got other fridges that we can chuck in on the empty side of the canopy to give us some more space. These are used to store all our cooking gear, pantry, and all the bits and pieces like that. And then recently we have added this slide out table to the front here. Prior to that, there was a cutlery drawer that was in there, and every time we went over bumps or anything, the cutlery would bounce up and over. There was a small gap between the two cupboards, and all our cutlery would disappear, and for ages we could not work out where it was going. We're like, surely we're not leaving it somewhere, you know, it would just disappear. And then it was one day we had a spillage of some salt, pepper, tomato sauce. Everything has at some point spilled through the canopy, and we took all the drawers out to clean it, and there was all our cutlery under this big drawer here. So we changed it to a slide out table. It gives us somewhere else to prep food and everything, because we normally take our bigger camping table with us, but that normally has the cooker on it, and by the time you put the cooker on it and a few other things, it is full. And we were using this for ages. We also use this gully space here to store stuff a lot, but then it can be a pain when you're trying to get in and out of the drawers or open the fridge. You're having to constantly slide stuff back and forth. So it is good to have this extra table to put stuff on so it's out of the way. The only thing you have to be mindful is, obviously, to open this drawer, you have to move everything. But this is our plates and cups drawer. So normally we just get everything out that we need, and then it doesn't have to be reopened. Now onto the rear of the car. We've got our treads mounted up here. We've never actually used these before. So it'd be good to actually get out and use them. But we've just got the actual tread locks, the matching locks for them, that's just screwed into the back of the canopy. Obviously we have a natural lock on it. And then up here we have got our King's rooftop tent. If you want to hear a more in-depth review on it, we've got one on our channel. But we love it. We've had no issues with it. And now we'll go back around to the front of the car. All right, we are now at the front of the car. On the front, we've got some King spotlight. Obviously, they don't get used very much, but they do the job. Got the antenna. I have no idea what brand of antenna it is. It was on there when we bought the car, and we haven't changed it. As you can see, she's got some pretty bad sun fade. These ranges are known for that. Between the bonnet and the roof is especially bad. We will eventually, depending on what we do with the car in future, look at either maybe getting it wrapped or repainted. The bull bar could do with some work as well. Paint's a bit faded on it, so she's definitely due for a birthday, which is pretty good to consider. The canopy on the back is worth around 10 grand. The canopy setup in the back of the car cost around 2 grand. I did have a family member make it, but for the cost of the materials and then the Bushman fridge was about 2 grand. We've since further put a bit more money in it. We have done a gearbox in it as well, and aircon. In total, I think we've spent around $15,000 on this car, which includes all the accessories and the rooftop tent, which I'd say for a first four-wheel drive is pretty good. And we're not looking at upgrading it anytime soon, as it still perfectly does the job. It's the perfect touring car, which is exactly what we want, because we do have the Patrol, which we mainly use as more of a four-wheel drive. All right, that brings us to the end of this video. If you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them down below in the comments on anything. If I missed anything that you guys want to know about, let me know. We have some pretty exciting content coming in the next couple of weeks, so don't forget to subscribe. If you'd like us to do a walkthrough of the Patrol, please let us know. It has got some pretty exciting things happening to it very soon.
Well, I think it's almost TD42 time.
Yeah. Forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers for watching.